Massa wins! Formula One World Champion!
Now, I know what you're thinking. How can Filipe Massa challenge for the 2023 title when he isn't even on the grid? Well, either you've been living under a rock or you're just dumb. Reports have been coming out that Massa intends to try and reinstate his claim to the 2008 World Championship this year via a lawsuit, a title which of course is currently held by Sir Lewis Hamilton. But why? That was 14 years ago. Why now? Well, that's what I'll try and explain in this video. 1, why he's doing it. 2, could he succeed? And 3, what the most likely outcome would be for this type of scenario. First off then, let's rewind to the 2nd of November 2008 and the Brazilian Grand Prix, the 2008 season finale. Coming into the weekend, it was Massa on 87 points, sitting in second place in the championship, with Hamilton in first with 94 points. And with that, they were the only two remaining contenders for that year's title. Hamilton qualified P4 with Massa on pole. And after a chaotic race which saw the lead for the championship change several times, Massa brought home the win, and with that, his points tally came to 97. Meanwhile, on the last lap, Hamilton passed Timo Glock.
Is that Glock going slowly?
To take P5 and, more importantly, 4 championship points, making his tally 98. Hamilton had won the championship by 1 point, not only a redemption on his 1 point loss from the season prior, but also his first world championship. So that was it, right? Hamilton won fair and square. Massa had to settle for second place, albeit in a very dramatic fashion. Now, why was this 1 point so relevant? And why would Massa be so outraged, even now, at this result? For that, we need to hop back to even earlier that season, to the 28th of September and the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, as there was quite literally another point to consider. Some of the newer F1 fans may not know why this race was and still is so infamous, and why that's not a good thing at all. For the unaware then, during the race, Nelson Piquet Jr., driving for Renault F1 at the time, crashed on lap number 14. This crash gave his teammate, Lord of the Eyebrows, Fernando Alonso, a big advantage, as he was the only car to have pitted for fuel. Back then, cars used to run the tyres the whole race and pit for fuel, nothing else. Yes, I know, F1 has been through a lot of changes, okay? This ultimately gave Fernando the win, and if you ask Ferrari, also forced them to make a whole series of errors, this ultimately leading Massa to finish 13th, even after qualifying on pole. For reference, Hamilton qualified second and finished the race in third place behind Rosberg in Williams and Fernando in the Renault. Fast forward to 2009 though, and after being dropped by Renault after the Hungarian Grand Prix, Piquet came out and said he was effectively told to crash in that 2008 race. Following an investigation by the FIA into the incident, they concluded that the team had effectively cheated by breaking Article 151C of the International Sporting Code. What that means is they basically made another driver crash in order to benefit another driver, in this case Fernando Alonso, though he was unaware of this at the time. The two head honchos for the team, Flavio Briatore, I can never say his name right, the team principal at the time, and Pat Simmons, the chief engineer, were both given bans from the sport amongst other punishments for the team. Now, into the meat and bones of it all. Coming into that fateful race, Hamilton was leading the championship by 1 point, and that's Massa's argument. The race shouldn't stand. It should be erased from history, not part of the season, and thus no points given, meaning going into Brazil, Hamilton would only be leading by 1 point instead of the 7 points he was leading by originally. Of course, assuming the events of the other races in between would not be affected anyway, Massa would win the title by 5 points. But why now? Like I said, it's been 14 years. Well, with recent actions taken by the FIA when it comes to penalties and race results being changed, combined with Bernie Ecclestone coming out and saying that they knew long before Nelson Piquet Jr. came out with the truth and wanted him to stay quiet till the awards ceremony at the end of the season, effectively being able to set the champion in stone, at least according to the rules, and also meaning there would be no massive controversy, at least at the time. There wouldn't be. Going into this further, in an interview with F1 Insider, Bernie was actually quoted saying, "We decided not to do anything for now. We wanted to protect the sport and save it from a huge scandal. And probably the biggest weapon in Massa's arsenal, we had enough information at the time to investigate the matter. According to the statutes, we should have cancelled the race in Singapore under these conditions. That means it would never have happened for the championship standings, and then Filipe Massa would have become world champion, not Lewis Hamilton. So given all that, what legs does Massa's case actually have? Well, in the history of F1, never has a whole race been excluded from the championship, taking points away from everyone. Teams have been excluded in the past, like in 2007 with McLaren and the Spygate scandal, or just drivers, just like Michael Schumacher did in 1997 when he was disqualified from the entire season following him deliberately crashing into Jacques Villeneuve in the title decider race. Similar things have also happened to drivers and teams affecting just one race instead of the whole season, but never has a single race been erased from a season. Now, to play devil's advocate here, if the FIA were to hold up a claim from Massa but decided just to remove Renault and its 2 drivers from the championship, the numbers still fall in favour of Hamilton for the title. Sure, Massa would gain a few points here and there, like in Japan, where Massa finished behind both Renaults for 7, take the Renaults out and that's a P5 finish. That's 2 extra points for Massa and his total. But so too would Hamilton gain, even in that infamous race in Singapore. Take Fernando away and Lewis gets P2 behind Rosberg, another 2 points for him. This means in every scenario that a lawsuit could go that actually has a precedent within the history and the rules of the F1, Felipe still comes out second best. No matter how much sympathy we all hold for Massa and everything that could have been for him, the fact still remains. Lewis Hamilton is and will always be the 2008 world champion. At least, I think so. As always, thank you very much for watching. 99% of you aren't subscribed, so if you would be so kind to drop a sub and a like while you're at it, I'd be much appreciated. Until the next time then, goodbye.